years ago, I decided to be an English as a foreign language teacher, with no idea of in which kind of quest I was putting myself into. Now I'm already in track, but still feeling wildly unprepared for it. The reason for this is not entirely lack of pedagogical knowledge or how comfortable or uncomfortable I feel in the classroom, but something much more complicated than that. I still miss many punchlines. My name is Flor and I'm here to talk about understanding jokes, language learning, and how these two things can be a key point into deciding if you already know the language or if you are in that point where you can fill in the gaps but not keep up with a real life conversation. So, wildly unprepared for today was the first Nathan W. Pike comic I came across with. It was funny, relatable, and the use of elaborated language seems witty to me. I became obsessed with all the strange planet gags. But soon I discovered that there was a word that kept appearing one time and one time again and ruining my experience. Deception. After 12 years of language learning, I had no idea of what deception meant. I just didn't get it. Of course, I could have looked it up, but I was a teenager and too stubborn to do it. So I wanted to make up the meaning myself. I tried with unwillingness, avoiding, uncomfortable, and so on until I got it right. It was meant lies. And I thought, okay, it meant lies. I took it for granted and I thought it was enough. I thought it was it, but it wasn't. There was too much more. Now, jokes. That jokes in particular kept appearing again and again on my Facebook feed. And I couldn't understand why people would laugh so much. But when I checked the meaning, turned out that most of them were puns. That is to say, jokes related to the double meaning of words. In general, polysemy or homophone cases. Silvia Pecenti, a Brazilian linguist who specializes in the effect of humor in language, says that when the person doesn't understand the joke, it is due to either lack of linguistic knowledge or lack of knowledge of the world. Now, the lack of linguistic knowledge is understandable, because when we are learning language, we are usually taught the most common use of words, and not necessarily all the meanings that may have. But what happens with understanding the world? The thing is that when we're learning in the school or any other systematized environment, we usually tend to miss the real and complex side of languages. They are live, they change, and they are used differently even in countries that use the same language or in different situations. Those ideas are understood as Himes communicative competence, an ability that involves a shared knowledge of linguistic code as well as the rules, norms, and values that guide the conduct and interpretation of communication. So look at this joke. The YouTube channel English Matv explained it by saying that many people may know that push the envelope means to try very hard to something that is not worth it or that may not happen. But stationary, apart from fixated in place, means paper. And that is something that not all people know. So even if you push the envelope and try again and push the envelope, it will keep being paper. What this trying to convey all this and reflect about is that some things won't change even if you try very hard. But to understand this and to get the meanings right and to make sense out of everything, we need communicative competence. Does this mean that if we can't get a double meaning joke, we will never understand our target language? No, of course not. Many people don't even get it in their own mother tongue. But what we do have to consider are the implications that these puns can have in language learning. For example, Lelia Souza, another Brazilian investigator, reflects on the different ways in which ELT can benefit from teaching through jokes and puns. She says that this is not only about communicative competence and the easy way of showing differences in context use or the meaning of certain words, but also something much more important, motivation. Students are always looking for reasons to learn, and we all are too. And Elena emphasizes how learning feels most important if we know where to use it, and how this feeling makes brain processing easier. Puns, jokes, and riddles are part of our day-to-day interactions. In our mother tongue, we choose to float rise maxims time and time again to convey more meaning. We use our body language, our intonation, and some double meaning words to let the interlocutor know that we are not being serious, that the relationship is at ease and friendly. And that's real communication. We are far from repeating fixed phrases to try and grasp a piece of meaning. Streaming movies and series, internet articles, YouTube channels are great input that we must take advantage of. Watch a series, watch a sitcom and try to make sense of the intended misunderstandings. Once you get it, you will never forget the meaning of words. Though you will probably forget the joke. You see, we always miss the punchline. Thank you.